I just got done a brutal semester, but the good news is now I have time to film a mailbag. First one up is this one from Amazon. February 19th ordered, February 21st received, $34.20. This one I paid a little bit much for, but I think it'll be worth it for what it is. This is pursuant to my podcast conversation with Scott Shawcroft. If you haven't seen that, haven't listened to that podcast yet, the link is in the description, maybe up top there too. But this here is a Adafruit Circuit Playground Express. You can get these on Amazon in Canada. It's weird, it's double bagged probably for my own protection. Let me zoom you in a little bit on this one. So yes, this is a Circuit Playground Express from Adafruit, and it is expensive. It's expensive for various reasons. One of which is that, well, first of all, I didn't buy it from Adafruit, I bought it from Amazon, so the reseller needs to make some money as well. But it's expensive because Adafruit does more than just make boards. They have a whole community and support and everything. So there's a little sticker there. Also, this thing is not just a microcontroller. If I can check it out, it is a Atmel. I'm going to put it on the screen here because it's really too small for me to read. But it also has a bunch of sensors in it. I'm going to put what sensors are on the screen here, but just off the bat, looks like there's a temperature sensor. There is a bunch of, these are like NeoPixel WS2812B. I think there's a gyro barometer. Yeah, it definitely looks like there's gyro here. There's some push buttons. So essentially you can pick up coding on just this one board. There's enough stuff on it for you to make all sorts of projects. But the reason I got this is because Scott swears that he and the Adafruit team have made CircuitPython super easy to pick up for beginners. So my challenge is going to be to take this board, only this board. What's included in the package, which I see is not much, right? The board sticker and the Adafruit website, and do a CircuitPython project. So with only that, no external sources, nothing, I should be able to do a CircuitPython project. That's what Scott said. That's what I'm going to test. So make sure you're subscribed for that one. Going to keep you zoomed in a little bit for this one. This next one here says 4 quantity banana connector, and $18.75, January 23rd to February 18th. This was from AliExpress, pretty sure. I've been shopping a lot more on AliExpress simply because Ali has actually tells me what the shipping method's going to be. So yeah, these are, if you've seen the 3D printer repair video, these are my favorite connectors for high currents. I haven't tested actually how much current they can handle yet, but they're basically, I think it's 10 pairs per bag of these 4mm banana jacks here with a little, you solder your wire right in here, has a little hole inside to accept solder, and same thing on the female end, and then they connect up like this. And the beautiful part about this is you just put a little bit of heat shrink on top here, little heat shrink over this whole thing, and you got a fully insulated high current connector. These things are the same sort of things that are inside XT60 connectors, so 4mm bananas. And those XT60s should be able to handle 60 amps of current. I feel like this here should be able to handle 60 as well. But, I really have to find a heavy load and a bunch of batteries to test that on. It's got me thinking. But yeah, I am running out of them, so I needed to get some more. Here's my box with my connectors. Whoops. What happened there? Oh, these guys came over from the other side. So I am out of XT60s. I also need to buy some XT60s. But here are those 4mm bananas. So if you can tell, I only have one female left, and I have 6 males left. It's kind of more expensive to buy them separately than buy them in pairs, so I just bought a whole bunch. I bought 4 packs of 10 pairs, so I've got quite a few connectors now. I'm really happy to be restocking these. Next one up is this one here. It says cable sleeves. If you don't have any of this, I would highly recommend you buy some. They are very, very cheap. So January 23rd to February 17th, order them before you need them because it takes a little while. $8.70, 6 meters in total. You'll see what this is. It is cable sleeve, but it's maybe not what you're thinking. Some people will probably understand immediately what it is because they see the 3-to-1 ratio here. Oh my god, this is way bigger than I expected. Oh no, this was supposed to be 6.4 millimeters in diameter? Well, I guess it is that. So this here is heat shrink tubing, but this is special heat shrink tubing. So it's special for 2 reasons. Heat shrink tubing basically you heat it up and it shrinks. Typically it shrinks at a 2-to-1 ratio. So if this is 6 mils across, it'll shrink to 3 mils across. But this one here is a 3-to-1 ratio. So if this is 6 mil across, it will shrink to 2 mil across. Also, this is also special because there is an adhesive on the inside here, which it's like hot melt glue. It'll get hot and it'll stick to whatever you're shrinking this on. So it makes your connections waterproof, or at least water resistant. So this is much higher quality stuff because of the high shrink ratio. The high shrink ratio is great because it fits over more things. So like those 4mm bananas, these guys here, I like them because they're pretty much the same sort of diameter the whole way through. So you just solder this onto your wire and then you bring up the tubing and you just shrink it on. But some devices aren't like that. They have like a bulb or something on them. So this stuff is easier to get over and then it'll shrink even tighter. So this is what that is for. I also have some standard heat shrink, some 2-to-1 stuff, which is even cheaper than this. But yeah, this is 3 meters. So what's 3 meters? About 9-10 feet worth of each color. And it cost me $10 shipped for both. This is like high quality stuff. I'm going to shrink some up in a minute here. But yeah, I'm running low on heat shrink. So I got some high quality stuff and some regular stuff on the way. The regular stuff is about half the price of this, but I think honestly when you're dealing in under $10, I think you might as well get the expensive stuff like this stuff. But yeah, finally have some. So let me cut off a little bit and I'll show you what I do with it. Just cut off a couple sections here, but let's say we have this wire here and we had a solder joint in the middle. If you look, this heat shrink looks way too big. Look how huge that is. It's way too big. But because this is a 3-to-1 heat shrink, I feel like this will be just the right size, and also it'll glue itself down. So I've got the 2 pieces on here. Just gonna grab my heat gun. You can use might be a little noisy. You can use a lighter or whatever to heat this up. But I prefer a heat gun because it doesn't leave like sort of black sooty marks on it. Just looks a little bit more professional. And honestly, if you have a rework station anyways, I mean, it's a case of smoke them if you got them at this point. Here we go, it's shrinking down. This stuff to buy locally in electronics shops is very expensive. So that's why it's good to have it in stock when you need it from, let's say, like AliExpress or whatever. And yeah, that giant piece of heat shrink seems to be working just fine for this small. This is a 14 gauge wire, I think. And I think we're getting the glue out now too. Just keep it moving. Smells a little bit, but that honestly could be the rework station. Be just about done. I have it about 150 degrees Celsius. You can heat these things up quite hot. They're not supposed to melt. They're supposed to be melt resistant. Okay, and there you have it. You can see a little bit of the glue there poking out, but I think, let's see if I can, yeah, it's already kind of stuck down, so you can't slide this. A typical heat shrink, you'll be able to slide it off the wire. This is already, it's not even cooled yet, really, and it's already stuck on there. So yeah, it's completely stuck in place, and it's completely insulated now from the elements. Let's see if I can cut it open. These things are great for making wires more rub resistant as well, because they tend to be quite resistant to abrasion. Yeah, that is completely, look at this, can't even remove it even after slicing it. It is completely stuck on there. So this is some pretty high quality stuff, and I do recommend, yeah, it's completely stuck now. There's no way to get this off. Yeah, it's completely stuck down. So I do recommend you get this before you need it, but I'm going to be using it for pretty much everything. These 4mm bananas, the XT60s, for example. It also works really good as strain relief, because as you can see, there's a little bit of rigidness to it. So it works well as strain relief. And on top of that, it's the shrink ratio is so large that you can put a regular piece of heat shrink on there, and then you can put this on top and shrink it all down together to make it even more rugged. So yeah, this is great. I'm really happy I got this. I don't know why I haven't gotten it earlier, but there we go. Now I have it. Speaking of things that I should have bought ages ago and don't know why I haven't, is this one here. It says Pliers. And this was $36.24. January 26th purchased, February 19th received. Yeah, I guess I'm getting a little bit more comfortable spending larger dollar amounts on AliExpress. So far, so good, because I picked the e-packet shipping option. It costs a little bit more, a few dollars. Some sellers are very unreasonable with it, so I don't use them, but some sellers are quite reasonable with the e-packet shipping costs, and so far I don't think I've lost a single package through e-packet, and it does seem to show up a little bit sooner. As you can see, this one here was half a month, which is better than most things I get on eBay, which is a month at least. Have you figured out what it is yet? Okay, here we go. So I've got two items in here. Let's open this one here. This is another crimper. I'm a big fan, as you can slowly find out. Oh, it's a ratcheting. Oh, sweet. It's a ratcheting crimper. Those are my favorite kinds of crimpers. But if you look at the shape there, mixed little square. And these guys here are ferrules. Ferrules? I think they're called ferrules. Oh, there's a little sticker you can put on top of the box. So they basically tidy up the end of a wire in order to insert it into a screw terminal. So let's see here. How does this open? So I've got a whole bunch. So typically the color, here in North America, the color dictates the wire size, but that is not the case for these. Let's see here. No, see? There's the same wire gauge. So 22 wire gauge, 18, 16, 14, and 12 wire gauge. And seems like it's 30 pieces of these, 50 pieces of these, 60 pieces of these, 80 of these, 120 of these. There's a lot of pieces in here. That's why I just decided I was just gonna get the big kit and deal with it. But yeah, this is for putting little ferrules on the end of bare wires that go into screw terminals. I don't know if I'm a fan of the fact that it's so wide here, because you probably can't get the screw terminals, these wires, all tight together. But I mean, I'm just going to have to try it. So let me go get something that needs these things, and we'll try it out. I think the obvious choice would be this Readin RD6018 power supply from Banggood. Link in the description if you want your own. It has this little terminal block here with the screw terminals, and I just shoved the wires in here all willy-nilly. But you're not really supposed to, and I know some of the comments section people have been chastising me about it, especially for my 3D printer. But you know what? The 3D printer, you just have to know that I installed it the way it was provided. So if it wasn't provided with ferrules, I'm going to install it without ferrules. And honestly, most people who buy 3D printers will install it with what's in the box. They won't go out and buy fancy stuff, especially if the instructions don't say so, which they did not. Okay, so that's all done. This is 14 gauge wire, so 14 gauge is this stuff. We're going to go with 2 reds for the red and 2 blue for the black. Wish there was black, but whatever, it's okay. I will deal with it. We'll deal with it. Okay, now probably the best procedure is to have this metal the same length as the insulation. So I'm probably just going to trim maybe a little bit more than I need off the insulation. I do have strippers. You know, I should probably just use strippers. Alright, what do we have here? Solid stranded 14 gauge here. Old habits die hard, you know? This, whatever stripping performance that you're seeing here has nothing to do with the strippers. This wire is the cheapest wire I could find, and the fact that it's all copper... Whoa, that's way too... The fact that it's all copper should be an indicator how cheap the PVC is. It is absolute garbage. The insulation is complete trash on these things. But it is what it is. It worked. This is from Princess Auto, and they were on sale, this wire. And in fact, I wanted more current handling capability, so I doubled it up. That's why there's 4 of these wires. However, I believe Readin thought of this because they give you 4 spots to put the wires. So that's pretty nice of them. Alright, just going to twist these up so they're not in the way. We're going to see how easy it is to slip on these covers. I'm feeling not very easy, but we'll see. Oh, very easy. Okay, 1, 2, and 3, and 4. And the reason why you do want these ferrules is that it keeps all the wire bundles all together. So when you squeeze it in these clamps, it doesn't they don't go everywhere, create resistance. Alright, well. Oh, careful. Put that back in. Oh, that did a fairly good job. Now you can get these in all sorts of shapes. I got the square ones for no apparent reason. I just arbitrarily chose. Oh, this is actually very easy. Why didn't I have this before? That's a good question. There we go. They were, you know, it was expensive, but it's not that expensive. So let me see if I can get you a good view of what they look like. So there we go. All crimped. Shouldn't be able to come out now. No, I don't think they're going to come out. Has these little marks here. Don't know where the focus is. Has these little marks here, so yeah, I don't think that's going anywhere. So I just have to now put it into the fitting there. I don't know. Positive is going to be sort of on this side. So that should fit in there. And that should tighten down quite well now without anything flying out. And it should offer a lot lower resistance connection, which is the point here. It's a bit tight though. Able to kind of jam that all the way down. And this is very likely how all my connections are going to be made onto screw terminals from now on, aside from prototyping. I'm not going to put a ferrule on a prototyping project. There we go, all the way in. Those are all tight in there. Should be able to just put this in like this. There we go. Neat and tidy. And the sticklers for, ferrules will now be happy. Awesome. On to the next one. And in case you're wondering if the ferrules are the heat shrink kind, they are pretty clearly not. I feel like the final package is the best, so I'll do this one and then the final package last. So this one here is K-type thermocouple. This is $10.77, January 18th to March 1st. I think this one is from eBay. It was just cheaper on eBay or easier to search for, one of the two. So this is 3 of these K-type thermocouples, but I specifically got the ones with the stick on them. They have like a handle. I use these at the college for us to test exhaust system temperatures, especially to see if catalytic converters are functioning. But yeah, I wanted some of these for home so I can just poke something and figure out its temperature. It's a lot easier than the little wire type. These guys here, these are good to like tape onto something, but it's really hard to like poke to get the temperature. This one should have the thermocouple right at the very end here. The very tip should be what's sensitive. And I would give this a test, but I have nothing to connect it to. All my thermocouples, all my meters use bananas like this for the thermocouple. You don't have a slot type. So I will make an adapter. I'll probably just take this apart and solder those 4mm bananas that you saw in the previous openings to make a little adapter for this. The wire length here and the wire type doesn't actually matter that much. It's just the 2 differential metals at the end of this thing that really makes a difference. So yeah, 3 of these, they were $3 a pop with the little pokey stick. So I felt like that was worth it. Got a bunch. If they're good, I'm gonna get a bunch more. Now on to the exciting one. Now this one here was sent to my P.O. box, but why is this one interesting? Why is this the most interesting one? Well, I don't know if you can read this, but that says BitLooney. If you haven't heard of BitLooney, what are you doing on this channel? Get off of here and go see his channel. But he has a board that'll solve one of the problems I've been trying to solve for a video for a little bit of time. And he closed down his Tindy shop because of the, human software problems, human problems we've been having for the last year or so. But he graciously sent me this, and he didn't want to take my freaking money. So we have to think of a project to make to send him. But Wago connectors? Oh my god! He sent more than he was supposed to. This is what he was supposed to send. Holy crap. Okay, well let's zoom in a little bit closer and we'll take a look at this. A little bit of a story first. I've been trying to program these little ESP32 cam boards for a little while now. It's just a ESP32 with a little camera on it. And Brian Locke actually has a tutorial on how to do it. And when I chatted with him on the podcast, he said, honestly, your best bet is to go buy a board from BitLooney. BitLooney makes these boards, Camprog. I talked to him for the podcast. Spoiler alert, he's going to be a guest on the podcast. And he's saying that he's going to find a way to keep selling things probably, but it may not be, he may not sell them himself, maybe through a third party. But either way, you should hit him up because he has cool stuff. But he made this specific board to program these specific boards. So you basically put the headers on, and I don't know, there's probably an orientation for this. But this should fit in like this, yep. You know, you just put these headers, and then you can just use USB, and it has a USB to serial on it. It does the line level stuff. It does everything for you, so you can program this very easily. So thank you so much, BitLooney, for this. I was not expecting this, however, because he told me he would send me this and refused to take my money. But this is a complete surprise. He sent me, look at these, legit Wago connectors from Germany. Look at that. Ooh, I've never actually felt one of these in the flesh. We don't, here in Canada, we don't use lever nuts in our electrical systems. They are legal for use, but there's nobody that sells them here. And I would not want to put my illegitimate ones, these guys here, in the wall because they are not rated for it. There's nothing that says they wouldn't work, but I do not want anything unrated inside of my walls. But these are the real deal. Look at that. Fancy, fancy. And he sent me a BitLooney pin. Look at that. I'm going to have this in the video when I show you guys how much easier it is to program with this compared to just doing it the hard way with this. So I finally have a little bit lighter semester. I am teaching content that I have taught before, and my hours have gone significantly down, about 40% lower than they were before. So I can finally attack a lot of the projects that I was telling you guys I was going to do for a while. Now I'll get to do it. Pretty freaking awesome. Thank you so much, BitLooney, and you guys should go subscribe to him. And so this harrowing horde of happiness is today's mailbag. I want to thank BitLooney for sending me this stuff. You will get something from me. I just have to discuss probably with my patrons what we're sending you. But go subscribe to BitLooney if you guys want to at least give him a small reward for what he sent me. Special thanks to my Patreon patrons. It's because of you guys I can buy things that are, you know, in the 30s of dollars. Oh, you can't even see that. In the 30s of dollars and the 30s of dollars to make cool videos. And for you guys that are watching and hitting like and commenting, I appreciate you. I feel you. I like almost every, I hit the little heart on almost every comment. It's only the real like iffy ones or the ones I don't know how to answer that do not get it. But I thank you guys for watching, listening, subscribing, and sharing with your friends. Thanks for watching.